Welcome to the after the election aftermath, uh, and that title song called "The Blues Man" could only be so appropriate to this episode. And I'm not going. I'm not going to get into my feelings. I'm going to go with you, Kenny. How do you feel?
To me, the words of the shit show one. Both of them, to me, wasn't really a good pick, but I voted for her ass. But it is what it is. You just got to prepare yourself for what's going to come now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah.
You have to prepare yourself because shit is going to hit the fan, and they're going to push their buttons and try to see if they can get shit going to get your ass incarcerated or shot or whatever the fuck.
Oh, yeah.
You got to mentally be prepared for all this shit. If it happens, it happens. At least you prepare. You prepare yourself for both sides. Yeah. It might not happen, but if it does happen, you're already ready. You know what I mean?
Well,
but you know what the funny part?
Yeah.
It ain't going to just be the black people, bro. It's going to be white, Mexicans, everybody, bro. If your ass don't make a certain amount of money, your ass is deep shit.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the founding fathers had a saying. They said, divide and command, and what that meant was that divide and command was, divide and conquer, the basic premise. And they pulled it off this week with such thrilling precision, but it cost them. But hey, it didn't cost them a lot because, see, when you're a billionaire, it don't cost shit. When you spend $9 billion, now, they don't even know how much money because there's so much dark money out there. So there's so much money out there. And they said, they made a big hoopla of Kamala coming up with approximately $1 billion. Yeah. And, that they spend at least $2 or $3 or $4 billion against her, but, what I want to come into is America has started a tidal wave that they're not going. They think everything's going to be the same. Okay, they think that all they did was because they love the bigotry, they love the bullshit he talk and how mean he treats everybody else. But let's kind of delve into what they've done. This is going to be a cursory thing there, Kenny.
Before you get into that, Scally,
go ahead.
I want to ask you what you think went wrong. Why she didn't win?
Well, here I've got two theories on that. One thing, Kenny, is a thing called the Bradley effect. Have you ever heard of that?
I heard of the Bradley effect, but I really don't know what the fuck is a Bradley effect.
Well, Tom Bradley used to be the mayor of Los Angeles. Very popular mayor. Everybody loved him. I met him when I was a little kid. He was running for mayor, and he was a black policeman, okay? And so he ran for mayor, got the mayor's office, and was popular. Then he ran for governor, and everybody said he was a shoo-in for governor. They would call on the polls. That's back when people answered their phones and shit. And they would call people and say, "Oh, you voting for? I'm voting for Tom Bradley." And they fucking trumps Tom Bradley's ass. And one of the things is that they couldn't figure it out. They said Bradley effect. Well, what it is what I have always told you. And I said this election, I told you the last episode, I said we had a choice between good and evil, between the we and the me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there was enough people that chose the me, thinking that they're getting something out of it, but you didn't get anything out of it. So what you've done is now Trump has the Senate, and he's probably going to get the Congress. Okay. So Trump's going to destroy Obamacare and all the drugs that you were getting cheaper that the pharmaceutical companies were all pissed off about because they couldn't fuck you with KY, and now you're going to get it. Okay? Now you've destroyed a nation, Ukraine. Ukraine's going to be no more because Trump's going to sell them out to Russia. So they're going to kill a whole bunch of people there. Okay? And then the people who were mad about Biden helping out Israel, there's not going to be a Palestinian over there, see? Because what Trump told them to do is finish the job. So he's going to go over there. He said, I'm in the war. Well, what he's going to do is destroy the Palestinian race. And all these people were outraged, and believe me, I share their outrage with what they were doing. But they were they killed 40,000, and now it's going to be millions. Okay? So, but along with that what I'm trying to say, that Bradley effect is what happened. What happened is that people were being called, and they were saying, all these people were going out, and I think Kamala had a very strong group of people. But see, and you're talking about white people married to each other. Remember I told you, I said, I look at the pictures of Ruby Bridges going to school in the 1950s. Now, Ruby Bridges and me are right about the same age. There wasn't a whole bunch of people out there helping Ruby Bridges. It was a community event. Where did those people go? Do you think those people still exist there, Kenny? The same racists and bigots, they showed themselves. And if we couldn't get those people, see what they did is they said, well, I like being number one on the totem post. I like the system that we have here. And I don't want, like when Barack got to be here, they said, oh, well, that's a good thing. Barack Obama, he seemed like he's a person we can work with and stuff. He was half white and stuff. Kamala was only Asian and black. Okay, so she's got two minorities against her. But what I think is that people, two heads between the pillow, a wife that's married to a white guy, and what should have been a tidal wave from women. Well, she did improve on women. She got a lot of the vote, but she didn't get enough of the vote, okay? Because the white women, because they're married to the white men and they're being taken care of. So things are good for them. They're not, except for that abortion issue, things are good for them. But so what they don't understand is that these people are going to take everything that they hold dear, their autonomy. So, there's talk about eliminating no-fault divorce. So somebody beating the shit out of your ass, one of the things J.D. Vance said is that, hey, it's probably good for a family to stay together, even though the woman's being abused, they need to stay together to keep the family together. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's right. I don't think a woman should have to get her ass kicked every day because she wants, because she has children, So in the final analysis, these people don't know what they've done. So they've caused the deaths of maybe 1 million Ukrainians. They've caused the elimination of the fucking Palestinians. They've subjected them to a deeper apartheid state, or if they can get away with that. But the West Bank is now going to be occupied because Benjamin Netanyahu have already got his his minister of war or whatever it is has taken over, and he is a proponent of taking the occupied land, which is illegal under international law. And
what they gonna do about with Russia? Russia told them don't do shit.
Well, Russia is going to take over Ukraine because now you're not going to send them weapons anymore. They can't fight anymore. If they lose the United States, they've lost some of the biggest suppliers. Now, Russians was losing that war. That's why they had North Koreans over there fighting for them. They were on the losing end. If Kamala would have won in another year or so, they probably would have won. But now, Trump's only transactional to Vladimir Putin. And that's the other thing. These people didn't want to believe that Trump is an agent of Russia. And I was watching a pseudo documentary, and they were talking about how Russia has been plying Trump for years. He's an agent of Russia, and they don't want to believe it. So,
what is Trump's wife? What is she? What's her nationality?
She's from one of the Slavic states. I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to make a comment on it. But her father was part of the secret police over there in the country she was, and it was a satellite of Russia. So that, what do you think? So anyway, long story short, they think that it's kind of like I want to tell this story because it's kind of apropos to this moment and the white mindset of all these people that are out there thinking they did something to woke people and all the rest of it. There's a story about Nelson Mandela. And this is a story where it's a reporter hanging out with him, and they're having lunch together. And Nelson Mandela sees this man over there, and he's got guards with him because he's the president of South Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes over there and says, invite that man to sit with me. And the man's sitting there, and he shakes. He puts his head down, shakes his hand, and then he sits down, and he says, well, welcome, sit next to me. And the guy sits there, and his hands are shaking, and he's still eating, okay? And he finishes his meal, thanks him, and gets the fuck out of there. And the reporter asks him, he says, how do you know that man? He says, well, he was the warden of the prison that I was in for all those years. And he says, I can remember him torturing me. And one time he was torturing me and left and wouldn't give me water. And then this warden pissed on me. And he said, the man was afraid that I would do to him what he did to me. See? Now that shows you a greater man than Nelson Mandela. And I don't agree with everything Nelson Mandela did. I don't believe in that truth and reconciliation bullshit that he put out in South Africa from people that were taking tires and putting it around black people's neck and lighting it on fire and letting them burn to death with a fucking tire around their neck. Nah. I didn't think that shit and let them get away with that. Because what, Kenny? Because what? If you condone shit, what's happening?
They're going to own your shit.
And that's what's going to happen to America. Mark my word, America.
So I remember, Scally, in the past you said that Trump was to leave when you was going to leave.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it, baby. I'm working on it. So
where you going to go, Scally?
Well, hey, I wouldn't tell these people. But I'll be broadcasting from a remote place. So, that's where I'm going to be, is I'll be on a remote assignment in another country. I plan on taking a trip there, and we'll probably be doing what I wanted to ask you, and the podcast can hear this too. Do you want to go to every 2 weeks or once a month or something like that? Because I don't know if your Constitution can take fucking every week with Trump. So, But hey, all is not lost. There's hope. And some person was telling me we've been worse than this, and I said, well, I want to see when we were worse than this. But what I see is that when the people, Trump is incompetent, okay, and this really hurts me and makes me wise because. And I was listening to a podcast today, and it made me remember a friend of mine. So I work with him in the fire department, and he had a hard on for white people, and he grew up in a little small town in Arizona, and he said I hate white people. And I said, no, I don't have anything against them. I have some friends that are white. I don't hate them. There's some people I despise, the racists and bigots and shit like that. I just don't hate them. But he said they're all evil, And I said, shit, what the fuck? But he grew up in a small town where it was a segregated town, and all they did was treat him like shit, kind of like growing up in the South. And I can understand where, if everybody treats you bad, you think all of them are like that because every person you see is like that. Now, remember I told you, I thought, well, maybe there was like 45% people that are racist. And I truly believe that we're past the 45. We're into the 50-something percent. So, there's half of our nation's white people are racist. Okay, and there's some people that are not, but half of them are. And I understand that there's going to have to be an evolution that changes that. It's not going to change overnight, and I think we fool ourselves if we think it does change overnight. Now, and that gave me, I didn't go into any research, Kenny, because I just wanted to just talk about it and talk people down. And what I wanted to say is that everybody, I've been watching TikTok, and people were talking bad about, they're mad at the Hispanics, and they're mad at, every group that voted for Trump. And, but almost half of the country didn't vote for Trump. So half of this country is good. So don't be divided and conquered. Don't think all Hispanics are bad because there's a bunch, there's 44% of them voted for Donald Trump. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people are low information voters, and they went in there and they voted what they saw. When Donald Trump he put all kinds of shit, and we're going to explore this in the coming 4 years, Kenny. One of the things he said is, hey, no taxes on overtime. No taxes on tips. Okay? Now, if you're a working man, you thought, oh, well, fuck, that's something for me. No taxes on overtime ain't never going to happen because there's no way to shut off the tax spigot once it starts. Okay? You can't just say, oh, this is overtime, because that's going to add more work to your employer. He's not going to do it. He's either going to make you do it. It's not going to happen. So that was, people promise all kinds of things. But what Kamala was promising was good shit. Something that she could work on. But he's not going, he said he's going to do Obama. He's going to get you something better than Obamacare. Now, he's had how long? He rode up an escalator in 2015. And what year is it now? It's going to be 2025 when he takes the oath of office. 10 years. And he says, I have concept of a plan, but he's not going to stop getting rid of your shit. Okay. He's not going to stop trying to fuck you out of your Social Security, because what they're going to work on, they're not going to just fuck you out of it quickly. What they're going to do is slowly. So, like you have children, if your children are in their 30s and stuff, they're going to make sure that they work till their 70s. Okay. They're going to make sure that the Social Security goes away. Now, see, I have Medicare. And I love Medicare. Greatest thing. I mean, it's better than almost any health plan I ever had. But they have health care. You ever seen these commercials on TV with Medicare Advantage?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times.
Do you know what they're doing with that?
What?
Those are privatized insurance companies that are bleeding Medicare, taking money from regular Medicare, taking that money from them because they charge more because it's private health care. And people, it's already past the 50%. And I listen to the commercials. My phone never stopped ringing when it's open enrollment. It's open enrollment right now. It's amazing you're not hearing my phone. But what they've done is they continue medical insurance the way it works normally. You have certain things where if you have like a Kaiser or Cigna or one of these medical insurance, they have to prove all your operations and stuff. They just don't tell you can have it. You got to go through before a review and stuff like that. Well, Medicare's not like that. If you need this care, they give it to you. There's certain things they don't do, but if they do it, if it's an ailment that they need to treat, they'll treat it. Okay. Well, these Medicare Advantages, they deny about 1/3 of all the medical care. Where that money going, Kenny? And they charge the government more money. Okay. Now, let me show you an idea of why these people are calling me, because every person, the callers who call me at home, they get from $300 to $600 to sign somebody. Okay? From $300 to $600. Now, if you get regular Medicare, there's nothing in it for them. If you get normal Medicare with a supplement, which helps you pay for the 80%, and you know where that 80% came from?
Where?
From the senators in the South. Because what they wanted was Medicare. Remember, I told you this brief history that Medicare was the fastest integration, removal of segregation in the hospital industry. They removed segregation in the hospital in a matter of a couple of years. And you know why they did? Because they knew this pool of money was coming in there, and Medicare told them, if you have a segregated hospital, you don't get any money.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about.
So that's what happened. That's why money talks. So it changed the whole fucking medical dynamics. But while they were doing that, the Southern senators said, well, we can't just have everybody get Medicare. We got to have some way to slow like the blacks and everybody, the poor, from using Medicare. So what they did is they only paid 80%. And you're responsible for the other 20%. So you're going to fear to go to doctor because you get a $100,000 medical bill. How much you on the hook for, Kenny?
10,000.
No. 20,000. Okay.
100,000?
Well, out of 100,000.
Oh, yeah,
80%.
Yeah,
okay.
20,
Yeah. Okay.
20, yeah. My Sesame Street thought you said 10,000. My bad.
Yeah, no, 100,000, you're going to be paying 20%. But if you get the supplement, they pay that too. So you get off not hardly paying anything. I got a good Medicare supplement paid for by my ex-employer. Really good. Okay. I want everybody to have it. But the fact of the matter is they'll kill off that supplement. And then what they'll do is get everybody on Medicare Advantage. And Medicare Advantage is so top-heavy, so costly, that it'll bankrupt the system. And then what they'll say is, we can't afford it. And then they won't give you shit. And then old people was one of the other people who voted higher against Trump. Because you know why? They like their Medicare and they're like the Social Security. And they knew that Social Security is on the line. See? Now, you don't think much of Social Security, but let me tell you something, Kenny. If you get a check every month for not doing nothing, you will love it. Okay? because that's what happens when you get Social Security. You get a check every month for not doing nothing, and then you get Medicare. So if you did some of your savings right, did enough to pay off your house, or got one of those 30-year mortgages, and you got a little bit of a amount mortgage, if I bought my house 30 years ago and I got Medicare, I could almost make it out living out of Medicare. And what Kamala was talking about is increasing the Medicare, giving you more money and paying all of the stuff. My employer pays for my glasses. I went to the fucking Costco glass place and got $600 worth of glasses, and I only paid like $60. Well, they were going to get you that same program that I have. See, all of this people don't know. But hey, I digress. It's done. We shall see. And then what will happen is you will get this boomerang effect, because they're on top now, and what they're going to try to do is manipulate the government so they can stay on top, so that your vote doesn't mean anything. They got 4 years to fuck up the system so that people can't vote. And and what I was trying to say, I'm going to try to get this audio for you. And hold on for a minute. I'm going to try to get this audio up. Okay, this is a sound. Now, this is going to be an interview with a guy named Eddie Wang. He's on a television show. He's like a chef. And he sat down with a white supremacist. And this is going to tell you how America thought. Okay? Ready?
Well,
See that.
Hey, did y'all see this video?
How's it going?
Very well.
Eddie,
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Thank you for meeting us, Mr. Taylor.
No, it's my...
I'm Troy Rawlings. This is a history quickie.
Europeans have probably, on a per capita basis, killed more than anybody else, but because they were technologically more advanced.
Where does gunpowder come from? It comes from China. It's just that Western civilization took things from people. And I think when you get to older civilizations, they become more benevolent. They don't hang on to things like genetics as much. They understand how experience changes you.
Base them on facts instead. That's essential.
But what I find interesting is you're so into facts and you're so into science, but then you supported Donald Trump, right?
Well, that's a whole different question. That's a whole different subject. Let's get back to...
But I want to know how it is you
Don't let
voted
it
for
frighten
Donald
you.
Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport all illegal immigrants, if he were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
So,
what did you think about that, Kenny?
this shit crazy, bro.
Because, hey, it's a silent, he's saying the quiet parts out loud. That's probably the thought, and I don't know what people were thinking, but I'm saying that may be part of their, what they don't, here's the thing. When I was in the Air Force, Kenny, and, I was an optimist, now I'm a pessimist, but what I believed about this nation, I said, this nation is could be one of the most strongest nations in the world. And you know why why I thought it was the strongest nations in the world?
Why?
Because it had co-opted the world's population. It had someone from everywhere. Every person wore that uniform. You had Asians, you had blacks, you had whites. You had this multicultural country that was this amazing experiment, Kenny. And I was so proud of this country. I really thought, I said, that's where our strength is. You know, if we can only channel that strength instead of using it as a what would I'm trying to say, as a cudgel to beat each other over the head with, we would be so strong, because this is a multicultural democracy. You know, it's you in the world. There's been they've tried experiments of it, but we're the first ones to try and make it that way. You know. And while we started in a original sin of slavery, we have been progressing, maybe at a snail's pace, towards this plural democracy. Okay, so this to me was the strength of America, and see, it saddens me so much to find out that somebody views that as the weakness of America. So, and with that, I have some thoughts that, and I saw this morning, and I wanted to share this with our listeners. All that can save you now is the confrontation with your own history. And that's from James Baldwin. What do you think that means there?
You gotta fucking make a decision quick, bro.
Well, no, it said you have got to confront. You've got to confront your history. See, we've never had a reckoning.
Oh, a reckoning?
Yeah, reckoning of our history. You know, that's why people try to change it, why they're doing in Florida. They don't want to teach black history. They don't want to teach what really is American history. They don't want people to know the sins of their past, because then that way somebody will understand that the people that you're trying to oppress with your words, deeds, and the hatred that you now have, you would think and say, hey, look how far we've come. Look how we've done these people, and they deserve a place at the table, you know. But that's what I think it is. He said, because we've never reckoned with who we are and never apologized for it. We never say, oh, you know, they just want you to get over it. You know, but what I find is white people can always say, I've got some friends of white people, and you do a front to them, they fucking hold a grudge forever, you know, and they don't expect you to hold a grudge for, you know, from being a plural, you know, from saying that we hold these truths to be we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, you know, and then disenfranchise people for 100 years and then turn around and hundreds of years. And then whenever they complain, whenever they want to tell you how good you got it. And I'll lead with this. It said that people don't believe that there's a problem, because in 1960s, would you believe that the blacks and whites had a problem? You believe that in 1960s, when they had the dogs beating kids, and you know, and the firemen throwing holes on them when they wanted to desegregate schools, and Ruby Bridges being spat on? You think there was a problem then?
Yep.
But, you know, they polled white America back then, and about 65% of them said, oh, no, they don't think there's a problem. See, did it say that in the Bible? It said, there is none that is so blinder than those who cannot see? You know, And I think we need a reckoning. See, and then what I'm blown away is black people who voted for Trump. Now that's some crazy shit. I know a few of those people. I don't talk to them because, see, if you can't see the struggle, if you don't know what it is, and you think that you're different from it, then you're already gone. I can't communicate with you. See, I can't communicate with a person who just elected a man who told the police that he's going to indemnify them so that if they kill somebody, there won't be any consequences for it. What do you think that's going to happen to the black man? Huh?
It's a crazy world, you know that.
What do you think's going to happen to the black man? Okay. And then here's another one that I heard with, one of my friends told me, talked to me and said, well, hey, it's just politics, man. You can't get all upset about it. And I said, this is a perfect statement. And it's from James Baldwin again. He says, we can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and rights to exist. Now, see, that's what those people did to the people in Ukraine. They did that to the women who are in states that have abortion bans. They did that to the black man who gets stopped by the police officer. They did that to the people trying to learn about their history in Florida. They did that to the people in Gaza, the people in the West Bank. And you see, what you don't understand is there's a cost for all of this. See, you think Trump's going to protect you. Trump is transactional for Trump. Trump will sell you down the, all he cares about is making money. Okay. There is nothing. They say there is no legiancy or loyalness in somebody who loves money, because money is, that's why if you were, if I was working for if I was working and had a top secret security clearance and I had access, let's say I had access to a Russian bank, you think they give me the security clearance, Kenny?
Hell no, they ain't giving you no security clearance.
Of course, because I have access to a Russian bank. If I had money in a Russian bank and said, well, this motherfucker has and we can't even track it. So it's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. So anyway, but that's what he said, do you disagree with that?
No.
Okay. So I don't want to hear what I wanted to do was get this guy. It was a white guy. And I'm just maybe I'll get him on the podcast next week. But he said that he says, for those people who voted for Trump, he says, don't tell me it was about economic anxiety or whatever, or the cost of eggs. He says, because what you have done is said your whole life is a lie. So what do we teach our children? To be kind to each other. Was Trump kind to other people?
Man. All this shit.
He professed hate. He went. All of these people who call themselves Christians. What does the Bible say about vengeance? Huh? See,
what does the Bible say? What
about vengeance?
Vengeance.
Vengeance, like getting back at someone.
Not to do it.
No, it says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Yes. See, I'm not a Bible guy, but I know a couple of verses. So, but I'm trying to say that all these people say they were Christians and that it was important to them. And they'll tell you about why abortions. And what that guy that we just had on talking, what the real reason why they don't want abortions?
What?
Because what they want to do is force white people to have babies. Okay? They want to inflate their numbers. Their birth rate is below the ground. So what they want to do is force you, because you become a broodmare for the country. Because what they want is that status quo. Because someone said, and the number goes back and forth, says 2040, 2038, that whites will not be the majority. Okay.
Shit, they're not right now. Shit.
Well, yeah. I think they still are, but they're just inching. It's like 54%. So, and soon they said the majority of children born in the world today are minorities. Okay, so that's what that guy was talking about. See, and they think that that their race. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that their race will assure their power. It doesn't. Okay, because here's what you're doing. Just like you do your children, you're teaching someone how to treat you, But getting back to that guy, he said, everything I've done in my life about being a good neighbor to people, treating people with respect and dignity, as you said, that don't mean shit. That a person that's a criminal doesn't deserve a chance, that criminals are all evil. And you go out and you vote for a criminal. That being honest in business dealing means something, and you go out and vote for a crook. That we should protect the nation's secrets, and you go out and vote for a person who's mishandled the secrets and may have sold them. You don't know. Okay, so you don't have a core. And you don't, so from now on, what I do is I tell my friends that are like that, I said, oh, don't talk to me. I said, talk to someone who will believe what you have to say, because it's not me. I don't believe anything you have to say. You don't have a moral core. Now, I'm not perfect, but I'm not going out of my way to cheat my neighbor. I don't give a fuck about my neighbor down the street getting something that I don't have, So that's, to me, that's some type of moral core, and I don't believe that I should cheat someone at every turn, but anyway, that's what, that was the guy's, what he said on TikTok. Now, I have one more little statement that there was a guy named Elie Mystal. You ever seen him? He's got this big old fro with this gray in it. He says, here's what his statement was after the Kamala Harris loss. He says, America deserves everything it's about to get. We had a chance to stand united against fascism, authoritarianism, racism, and bigotry, but we did not. We had a chance to create a better world for not just ourselves, for our sisters, brothers, in at the least of some of our communities most vulnerable to unchecked white rule, but we did not. We had a chance to pass down a better, safer, cleaner world to our children, but we did not. Instead, we chose Trump and J.D. Vance, a few white South African billionaires who know a thing or two about instituting apartheid. I could be more specific about it, about the we, roughly half of us, didn't vote for this travesty. I could be more specific about who did, and as people pour over exit poll, the only thing liberals will do liberally is dole out blame. But the conversation about who is to blame, the handwriting about who showed up and who failed, the moment at a largely academic, at the moment is largely academic and pointless. America did this. America thought the process of a free and fair election demanded this. America as an ideal, concept, and institution wanted this. America as a collective deserves to get what it wants. To be clear, no individual person deserves what Trump will do to them, not even the people who voted for him, to do the things he's going to do. Nobody deserves to die for their vote, even if they voted for the other people to die. How about that, Kenny? What do you think?
That's a lot of words, bro, but reality gonna sit in it. This shit is crazy, bro.
Well,
I honestly think that we really need to sit down and have a fucking talk on where we going, man. Where the hell are we going? You know what I mean? Are we going to continue to help other countries and not help ourselves first? Or are we going to continue to
Kenny,
try to dominate shit? Man,
Kenny,
this is crazy.
But the other countries are like 1% of our problem.
I know.
We pump out 1%, but what we need to do is, you know who applied the election towards Trump?
To what?
You know who made Trump popular in the election? Who with all the, I live in a swing state, and you live in a swing state. How many commercials did you see on the fucking television? Was it crazy?
A lot, bro.
Okay. See, well, the people in the swing state was inundated, and it was nothing but lies and innuendo. And, Kamala is for them, and Trump is for you, and all this other bullshit. And, and the simplest fact is the guy is disqualified and was disqualified and should have been disqualified. And for you to go to him and say, hey, I trust him. They had a young lady, and she had to be like 30 years old, and she's coming out of the poll. So, who did you vote for? Trump. And I said, did you vote? And the lady asked her, said, well, did you vote for the anti-abortion? Yeah, I did. Well, don't you know that Trump is the person who started all of this? Well, I believe him when he says that he's not going to do anything about it. Why would you? Why would you believe anybody that lies to you all the time? Come on, Kenny. What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you that fucking dense that you cannot believe that somebody lied to you? What credibility do they have? That's why when I tell you, when my friends start talking to me and they told me they vote for Trump, I don't listen to them. To me, if your word don't mean anything, what the fuck do I need to tell you? We can talk about other things that we have a commonality with. Maybe we like soft serve custard, something like that. Okay, that's fine. But if you want to talk to me about politics, you're done. Your shit is done. You don't need to talk to me ever about politics. And when that's your qualifier, okay? Now, I'm not like all these people that were on the fucking TikTok. We're all mad at everybody, and I see that what people don't understand, and I said this in the last podcast, and people think, and I'm sure if they heard it, they'll say, oh, what the fuck, this guy's crazy. But what I'm telling you is that you have billionaires that grew up in South Africa and were mad that America helped overthrow their apartheid state. One of them is Peter Thiel, and the other one is Elon Musk. And let me tell you about Elon Musk's deal. I was listening to Jamie Raskin on the MSNBC, and he was saying that Elon Musk is going to get a job about doing management, budget, or something like that. He's going to be efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what gift he gets with that?
What?
Because he's going into that office, he gets a one-time selling opportunity to sell some of his stock without any capital gains. So he can sell billions of dollars of stock that he owns in all of these companies and put it in his pocket and not pay any taxes. So you think that's why he's put out $1 million, about $100 and something $1 million to get Trump in? Huh?
That is crazy.
He's thinking, and people thinking, oh, well, all these commercials must be true. They couldn't say it. Of course, they can say anything they want in a commercial. They can say Trump has a gold dick. Okay? And if people want to believe it, they can believe it. But it doesn't mean that he does. Okay? So, in the final analysis, this is the problem. It's that the people have divided us and conquered us by telling you what you want to hear. If they come up with something, transsexuals. Oh, Trump said something about, what was it? It was your kid goes to school and goes to school one sex and come home another sex. Now, in your whole fucking realm of belief, do you think that could ever happen? You can't get a fucking nurse to give you an aspirin. How the fuck are you going to get a nurse to give you a sex change operation and get a doctor to do something so fucking unethical, huh? Without parent proof or parent agreement. So how do you think that's true? So that's what they were putting in there. And they were talking about, they're going to do this to you. They're going to do this to you. They're going to do, Kamala's going to do this. She's wrong. Now, see, but people, and one of the things is that she couldn't change this. Kamala wasn't in charge of shit except giving Joe Biden an ear. So she didn't have any, a vice president he can't do anything but break a tie vote in the fucking Senate. That's his whole job. And then he goes to, talks to other countries, and he or she is giving the president's opinion, not theirs. It's just like when I was on the fire department, the chief said, he says, when you're in that uniform, he said, when you're out of that uniform, you can have any opinion you want. When you're in the uniform that we gave you, your opinion is our opinion. Okay? So you don't use your uniform to talk against us. So that's the same thing as the fucking Kamala Harris. That's why she never said anything derogatory, never said, Joe fucked up or anything like that. She couldn't. Because what that would be, she had to be loyal to him, So in the final analysis, her job was only either to continue the policies that he started or to create policies that are new. Okay. Now she told you what she was going to do, and we'll cover that maybe in the next podcast. But she told you that she was going to get you inpatient care, in-home care for elder care, which is amazing because if you get old, Kenny, and the only assets you have is a house, what's going to be the first assets that's going to leave you when you fucking get old is your house, because these convalescent care, that's what they do. They get there. Oh yeah, they charge you. The charges are something like $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 a month. You're not going to be able to make that. So what they do is they tell you, we'll take over your house, and they'll put you in that care facility, and hopefully you'll live longer than the money. And if not, they'll try to get money from the state, because then there's an indigent system that pays them a little money. but they take everything that you own, Kenny.
Mm.
So what she was trying to do was save seniors from that, to give them patient in-home care, and have Medicare pay for it. But no, we can't have that. That's some horrible shit. Instead of taking everything, all of your worldly possessions in the end, there's a business that's all they do. That's a business model for these convalescent care facilities and all these care facilities. They do that. That's their business model. Okay. Anyway, I should know because I'm getting of that age. So, while we come to the end of this, Kenny, I know it sounds like Debbie Downer, but I want to tell the people out there one thing. They're good Hispanic people, they're good white people, and they're good Asian people. Just because some of them voted for Trump, don't make them all bad. But I want something to be ingrained in your head. Don't ever think the struggle is over, okay? Don't ever think that because we got to one area in our life that we can drop our guard. It is constant, okay? And Coretta Scott King said this. She said, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You can earn it and win it in every generation.
Mm.
So that's what it is. We thought that we get the Voting Rights Act. No, you have to always be what there was an old movie where and I forgot what the name of it, but it was about there must always be a guardian to the gates of hell, and there must always be somebody on the wall. That's why you have an army. And you know what the army is doing? Protecting your ass. So to protect your rights, this is for black people and everybody else. You have to vote for your rights and be out there and never give up the struggle. My mom was right. She always told me, get your ass to vote. Tell your children to vote, because it is the most important instrument that this country has given you for change. And you see how important that instrument is where we are today. Okay? So someone has used their right to vote wrong. Okay? And we are going to reap the benefits of that. All of these people think nothing's going to happen to the good old U.S. of A. You don't think that Trump won't sell you to the Russians. Trump won't weaken this country, and he will. So, and then they will blame themselves. They're going to try to say, well, I didn't know. No, you did know. Said, do you think there's not one motherfucker didn't know that Trump tried to overthrow the election last year? Do you think there's not one motherfucker didn't know that Trump went ahead and got caught with top secret security clearance documents when he left the White House? Do you think there's a motherfucker that didn't know that Trump was sending people that took children away from their fucking parents at the border, and there's probably 1,000 of them, they're still separated? The cruelest thing you can do to another human being is to take the babies out of a mother's hand, So you think these people didn't know that? Now, if you were 16, going from 18 years old, and it's the first time you vote, and your ignorant ass didn't follow anything except TikTok and didn't know shit. But see, that's on you too, because the job of citizen is to be informed and know. See, that's on you too. Don't try to puff it off on somebody else. It's on you too. That job is one of the most important jobs. I heard it like 40 times this week. It said the most important job in the United States of America is not the president. It's citizen. It's who you are as a citizen. Okay? So these people who coming up here and saying, "Oh, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do it." Yeah. No, it is your fault because ignorance can't be pled. You let all of these people down. These hundreds of thousands of people who are going to die is on your hands, you know. So with that, Kenny, I guess we're going to end it. So I feel good about and this was mostly a support thing and to talk ourselves down. And next week, the work begins. Oh, where's my...
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh.
The world is spinning out of control, a never-ending cycle of blood and soul. Families torn apart, children left alone, as they march to the battlefield with hearts of stone. Why are they killing everyone? Is it worth the damage done? Our tears fall like the rain as we watch them die in vain. Bombs exploding, bullets flying all around us. There's no denying the horror of war. The price we pay for our leaders, greed, day after day. Why are they killing everyone? Is it worth the damage done? Our tears fall like the rain as we watch them die in vain.
Hey, thank you, America, for sentencing thousands of people to die and women to die in the hospital parking lot. Go ahead, Kenny. Take us home.
If you condone this shit, they gonna own your shit. Cali and Big Kenny out.
You shall see.
Get your head out of the sand, please.
Okay. Yeah.